Men's basketball stays hot.
And women's basketball starts the new year off with a victory.
All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. Hi guys, welcome into Penguin Rundown. I'm Andrew Pearce alongside Donald Van Horn. Donald, this is our first episode back from break. How was your winter break?
It was fabulous. I got to see my family over break. I got plenty of rest, and now I'm ready to start off the new semester.
Well, you know who didn't get much rest was the men's basketball team. As over the winter break, the Youngstown State University men's basketball team stayed busy as it rounded out conference play with the 10-3 record and tied program's all-time record with longest winning streak at 7 wins. The Penguins restarted Horizon League play against Oakland University on New Year's Eve but fell short 88-81 inside the Beagley Center. Youngstown State looked to bounce back from their loss at home against Northern Kentucky University as it hit the road for one game on January 4th. The North's offense proved to be too much for the Penguins' defense as Marquise Warwick had a game-high 29 points en route to another Penguin loss. Youngstown State returned home for a 3-game homestand against IUPUI on January 7th and got back in the win column 75-65. Senior Brett Thompson scored a season-high 20 points in the second half, which led to a much-needed victory for the Penguins. Sophomore guard John Lovelace Jr. talked about how important it is for the team to keep momentum in the upcoming games.
For the next game was really important. Just bringing this game and trying to get stack wins back-to-back because we need them right now. And just playing as hard as we can, doing whatever it takes, and urgency is the biggest thing right now.
The men's basketball team is back in action against Purdue Fort Wayne inside the Beagley Center tonight at 6:30 p.m. The game will be live streamed on ESPN Plus and can be heard on 570 WKBN.
While YSU students were away on break, the women's basketball team continued its schedule into the new year. The team saw 2 straight wins back in early December against the University of Akron at home and on the road against St. Francis, PA. The team would then travel to St. Bonaventure, New York for a matchup with the Bonnies, where they would be bested 47-55. After the road game, YSU would see 4 straight games in the Beagley Center. First of the 4 games was against Canisius University, where the women would lose 59-65 after holding a 50-37 lead in the third quarter. Horizon League foe Wright State was the next to come to the Beagley Center, and 26 points from Wright State's Alexis Hutchinson led the Raiders to an 82-68 victory. In the last game of 2023, YSU took on IUPUI Jaguars, where the Penguins were able to snap the losing streak with a 58-56 victory after 2 clutch free throws from 5th-year Shea Lee Kirby with 1.4 seconds remaining. On January 3rd, Oakland University traveled to YSU, and after a 70-63 victory, the Penguins won their 2nd straight game with 18 points from 5th-year seniors Paige Shy and Dina Geralds. Back on the road, the Penguins would face off against Cleveland State in Cleveland this past Saturday. The now 13-3 Vikings proved to be tough, defeating Youngstown State 79-37. Despite the loss, 5th-year senior Emily Saunders came through with 7 blocks for the Gwins. Acting head coach John Nichols talked about how bench players contributed during the stretch.
We told them the last couple of days, we're like, hey, coming off of the IUPUI game and knowing the style of play that Oakland has, we were going to have to throw a lot of bodies early and often. So they knew it was coming. To their credit, they went in and did hold their own. So that's comforting to see as a coach to know that we can throw them in the fire and they held their own and helped us out in a time of need. So.
YSU will return to the court on Thursday, January 11th at 8 p.m. in Green Bay to face off against the 12-3 Phoenix. You can watch the game on ESPN Plus and view live stats on YSUsports.com.
Now we are going to send it over to our very own Caleb Ellison and Dylan Lux at the roundtable. Caleb and Dylan.
And welcome into the roundtable for the first time of 2024. I'm Caleb Ellison, and joining me today is Dylan Lux. And Dylan, we're going to be talking about our indoor track and field team. You know, we saw a little bit of what they're capable of back in December, hosting the YSU Icebreaker, and then also going to Boston College for one of our runners. But really, that preview alone, it's a really high standard for this team.
Absolutely set some great benchmarks for the rest of the season. Senior Hunter Christopher competed, as you said, at Boston University in the Sharon Collier Danville season opener. That was December 2nd. Shout out to Otto Landrum of BU. But Hunter Christopher ran in the 5,000-meter seated race, ran with 207 athletes, and placed 49th. An incredible runner, and one of the main reasons we were winning the championship of the Horizon League in cross country back in the fall. He ran a 13:47 in that race, and as for the YSU Icebreaker, multiple meet records broken. 50-year Jakari Lomax set a YSU record in the triple jump, a school record with a 15.52-meter jump. And his jump mate, senior Ty Hunt, shattered his own school record in the long jump with an 8.08-meter jump. His previous record was 7.74 meters. That 8.08 mark would have placed him 6th last year at the NCAA Indoor Championship. So again, a great benchmark for the rest of the season.
Exactly. I mean, the most impressive thing about this track and field team, they were picked for the coaches' preseason poll to finish in first place, both the men's and women's team. You go back to last spring in the outdoor season, men's and women's took first place. Last winter, the indoor season, men's and women's took first place. So the track record, no pun intended, is definitely established both in distance and also in those field events. You talk about shot put setting records, triple jump setting records, a long, good history of pole vault even. So really, there's a lot of established stars on this team. We know what they're capable of, and the coaches definitely feel that way too with that first place vote.
And a lot of time to showcase their stuff this season with meets inside and outside of Ohio. Traveling to Kent early, to prepare for the Horizon League Championships in late February and the NCAA Indoor Championships in early March. Traveling to Kent, University Park, Boston on 4 separate occasions, going even to Arkansas, Geneva, and Akron, Ohio. So, I mean, a lot of notable meets in there. So a lot of time for these Penguins to showcase their stuff and why they're in preseason #1 and looking to be #1 again.
Especially coming in this early in the season, it's really vital that everyone stays close this weekend, both going to Kent and Penn State. The weekend after that, hosting the YSU Collegiate Invitational. So giving these Penguins plenty of time to save their energy, not worry about travel, and just do the best that they can. And speaking of being the best, that is all the time we have here at the round table. Coming up, we'll see the best of the winter break and what Penguins stood out the most. I've been Caleb Ellison.
And I've been Dylan Lux.
Andrew and Donald, back to you.
And now we'll send it over to Bryce Noel for the player of the break.
Thanks, guys. Over winter break, we had a lot of exciting action here in downtown Youngstown, Ohio, and one Penguin that stood out over this winter break was 5th-year senior guard Brandon Rush of the men's basketball team. As last Sunday's win over IUPUI, he reached a new career milestone of 1,500 points over his NCAA collegiate career, combining his time of Fairleigh Dickinson and Youngstown State University. He's been a very vital part of this organization, especially after the departures of Dwayne Cohill and Adrian Nelson last winter. And you can catch him and the rest of the men's basketball team here in the Beakley Center tonight at 6:30 p.m. as they will be hosting the Mastodons of Purdue Fort Wayne. You can catch that game here on ESPN+. Once again, we'd like to wish a very well congratulations to Brandon Rush on being this off-season's Penguin Player of the Break. Donald and Andrew, back to you guys.
And that's all the time we have for you on the Penguin Rundown. You can head over to ysusports.com for live stats, news, and more. You can also follow us on Instagram and X at Penguin Rundown 1. I'm Andrew Peterson.
And I'm Donald Van Horn.